Greetings, Skill Incarnate bringing you all the latest indie gaming goodness. Welcome back as we look at another indie game. This time we're looking at Incision. This was developed by SmoothBrainDev and published by my good friends at Hyperstrange, who are becoming experts at crafting the boomer shooter, and Incision is definitely one of those. This game takes inspiration from Legends like Doom and Quake. It takes all the best parts of those games and leaves out the worst. What we have is an incredibly refined FPS experience, with sharp controls, blisteringly fast gameplay, and some of the most interesting weapons and enemies I've seen in a long time. Now I really like this game, obviously, but as always we're going to have a look at the first part of the campaign. Let's have a look at Incision. The game starts us off in a medical clinic. We don't know why we're here, who we are, and what's going on. What we do know is we are studying some corpses from some obviously non-human entities. We're obviously prepared because we've got a small selection of weapons, and we're about to be attacked by a group of enemies. We don't know why they're after us, but I know what we're going to do to them. Now the game has some very sharp controls. It takes a lot of inspiration from games like Quake, from the graphic style to the controls to the weapons, enemies as well. But it's a very sharp and fun to play game. The weapons too, very powerful, very punchy, something I love. Get our hands on some secret shotgun. Now, at the start of the game at least too, their ammo is very rare. You can't just go around just shooting at everything. So you're going to want to know too the enemies you can take out at close range and the ones you may want to avoid and take out with your shotgun or your pistol. The game has a very dark and dingy style, which I really like. There are extra lives too you can pick up, so you want to try and save those, try and avoid dying, at least in the early part of the campaign, because later on the game has an even sharper difficulty spike. Speaking of difficulty, we are playing in the second highest one. There are 4 difficulties in the game, and it certainly does not mess around. Which is why we're trying to conserve our ammo a little bit, because things are about to get pretty damn hard. These guys aren't too bad, and their pathing is a little bit basic, which is probably one of my few complaints with the game. Most of the enemies will just kind of attack you, they'll go in a straight line to wherever you are. And you can kind of exploit that a little bit, as you can see. That being said, most of the enemies do tons of damage. It really only takes a few shots to do you in, so you want to try and, obviously as much as possible avoid getting hit. You're very mobile though. Well, I'm glad I saved my ammo. We can save a little bit of ammunition. See, one of the things I love about this game too is it takes all the stuff I liked about the original games like Quake and Doom, and it's improved on so much. So all of the weapons are useful in their own way. Even melee attacks, as you can see, if you can exploit enemies getting close, you can kill them very quickly. Maybe let's shotgun this guy. Ouch! Well, see, even the attacks bounce back. All enemies have their own unique style of attack. Some of their attacks are actually quite deadly. You need to be very careful. Oop, take that. We're running low on ammo. Oh, and I'm quite hurt, so let's play this careful. .22 health. Oh, there we go. Needed that. The health and ammo placement is spot on in this game too. Now, I tried to place the time frame of this game and the location. It has this kind of dark industrial feel mixed with the overall theme of like organic corruption. So it kind of gives me a bit of a mix of Warhammer 40k and Lovecraft, to be honest, which I love. I can see a little bit of inspiration from games like Dusk as well. Okay, we'll come back for that health. We will need it later. Now the game has a lot of verticality. You'll be climbing a lot, you'll be using that double jump, and I love that. There's a lot of exploration, a lot of secrets that you can find in the game. You want to keep your eye out for things like those weak walls, because as you can see, ammo very, very rare. We're actually not doing too bad for ammo at the moment. We'll come back for that. I'm sure we'll need it later. Now, speaking of secrets, we can probably jump over that. Before we do, I believe there's a rocket launcher we can get our hands on. Maybe not. We can drop down here. Oh, there's some free health. I'll take that. Oh, the stim... There you go. See, I'm still learning stuff. The stim injectors actually will go over 100% health. Which is great. There's another secret here. So you want to try and pay attention, because ammo, I've rarely ever found myself with full up on ammo with every gun. You'll often find yourself running low on certain weapons. You need to get comfortable with using all of them and what enemies are weak against certain guns. I mean, the shotgun 90% of the time is your best bet, but getting close sometimes is not a smart idea. Especially against the enemies that have explosive attacks. I mean, if I had to make some complaints about this game, it's really only that the enemy pathing is a bit meh. Now, when I say pathing, you notice that most of the enemies just kind of like run in a straight line towards you, which is a little bit disappointing. There we go, I'm nearly full up on shotgun shells. As you can see, all these secrets are the best way to fill up your ammo. You want to be looking around, you want to be finding every secret nook and cranny to fill up your ammo supply. Okay, so I think we've done well. We're pretty much full up. And the game, it does have some very nasty difficulty spikes. So you want to make sure you've got, you know, you're really, really comfortable with all of the weapons. They all have secondary fires as well. Oh, that hurt. There goes my extra health. And you want to try and be saving ammo wherever you can. These guys are being stubborn. Here we go. Nice. I think there was some ammo there, actually. It was. So we should be able to get our hands on a machine gun soon if we're careful. Hey! See, most of the enemies too have very, very fast attacks. They're all projectile based though, so if you can stay mobile, you can avoid most of them. Take that health. I believe there's a machine gun around here if I can find it. Get our hands on that bad boy. I wonder if I missed it down here. Oh yeah, I did. Ha! There we go. So this bad boy is your best friend, the machine gun. Very powerful. It's as you can see, it kind of stun locks enemies, but it has a huge ammo reserve, so you can just dump hundreds of bullets into enemies. These are the things we need to destroy. And that was the second problem with the game. As you can see, the sound is very, very poorly normalized. Some sound effects, I've turned most of the sound effects for this game down because they'll bleed your ears out. This game is, like many indie games, is just in sore need of some normalization. Sound design is one of the hardest things to get right for indie games. It appears to be one of the most common problems I've found across all of the games that I review. Okay, let's keep on going. Now we've dropped the... here we go. We've dropped the ladder. I'm going to take this. We've got our friend Mr. Machine Gun's going to be very useful up here. The game has a very kind of dark industrial feel. Again, I was trying to get a bit of a feel for when the game is set, what the area is. It kind of looks a bit European. Maybe during the 1900s, but I mean, it's a very steampunk sort of aesthetic, and I think that's a deliberate choice. Explosive turrets. Whew. So now we've built up a bit of ammo, we're okay, but in the early game you want to try and hang on to as much as you can. And exploit the enemy pathing a bit if you're smart. I kind of wish the enemies did something other than just run at you in a straight line though. But when you're dealing with enemy, the quantities of enemies, it doesn't really matter because there's so damn many of them and they're shooting at you so fast that most of the time that's probably going to kill you anyway. There we go. Don't need those. You want some machine gun ammo. It really is, the machine gun's your best friend most of the time. It has very little spread. It's very effective. Let's wait, Mr. Explosive Barrel, kaboomski. Now, I'm a bit too much of a fan of the machine gun. You want to try and make sure you're using all of your weapons. Otherwise, it's very easy to run out of ammo. But, it's not a problem because we've reached the end of the first level. And the end of the video. So, hopefully this first look at Incision has given you a bit of a taste for the game. Very, very highly recommended from me. It's a fantastic boomer shooter. It takes all of the best stuff from the games of old and it implements some clever new ideas. It's just a really well crafted shooter, something that Hyperstrange is getting to be a master at. So hopefully they will, when they get their new game, they'll let me have a look and I'll share it with you guys. But until then, let me know what you think. Leave me a like, leave me a subscribe, and hopefully you'll join me next time when we look at another indie game. Until then, Skill Incarnate, out.